My webbing. I use old 90s webbing. I'm going to be adding my 3D concealment to it and adding some depth to my webbing and showing you how I use it, not just for load bearing. So it's not just used for load bearing, it's used for concealment as well. So I'll go over that, which is, let's just run over it to start with. It's 1990s US Army webbing, which is super cheap to get hold of. I think this is one of the first things I bought when I started Airsoft, and it was 20 quid, something like that. The great thing about it is it's lightweight, it's very, very comfortable to wear, and it's got pouches in the right positions for me. I have them on my front of my chest. I prefer them on the front of my chest than on my belt rig, because when you're crawling around or rolling around on my belt, they get in the way. So I like my pouches on my front, and these bad boys, they're perfect for holding Mark 23 mags, VSR mags, or food, snacks, etc. One thing I have added to it is a cross-draw holster for my Mark 23 pistol. All I use, a lot of people ask me about how I holster my Mark 23 pistol. I just use what is it's a cheap Viper adjustable holster. It's got Velcro on it, so you can adjust it to fit any pistol. They're cheap. Again, it's 10-15 quid. The advantage of them is they're big enough in the bottom, big enough hole, so the suppressor of the Mark 23 can go through. Now, as you can see, I've got some gaps here I've started noticing. So I'm going to show you how I add concealment and what I use for concealment. I'm using this stuff. Now, if you didn't join us for the last video, this stuff's called shoe goo, and it's readily available on eBay. It doesn't cost a lot. It's 2-3 quid a tube. Just some of this old mesh, and it's just a simple case of sticking it on and resorting to this stuff, whether it's for repairs, the suit, the clothing, or webbing. And most of my crafting is done with this stuff, and it literally just a question, as you can see there. I will actually put some glue on and stick this clear meshy material on here. This stuff, I think this is from an old leftover suit, but you can get this sort of material in craft shops, and it's very easy to get hold of as long as you get the colours, sort of an earthy browny colour, or a green. In summer I'll use a green colour as well, and hold it there. The shoe goo takes probably 5-10 minutes to start to set, and it just creates depth. So you get rid of that big blank green surface and just create the depth to disrupt any kind of shape. That's one method I use, and you can already see there, when that's on the ground or in a woodland environment, that's going to provide perfect concealment. And most of my webbing is covered in that material. Maybe the shoulder straps are not, because when I also wear a camelback, so on my shoulder straps this will be where the camelback will sit. I do have on some of the external straps moss, which again I have shown in the previous video how to attach that using the shoe goo. What I'm also going to show you today, which is a little bit different to this material, is I'm going to use some Raffia. This is Raffia. Now it looks a little bit like Hessian. Yeah, Raffia. This stuff it's much easier to use than Hessian. It's not as strong. It will snap more easily. However, now the colours aren't quite spot on when you get them. So I've just been using spray paint. You can see it's got a darker shade here. However, I'm not going to use this in a big clump around my ears. I'm going to use this on the belt on my webbing. On this belt where there is a hole there, I'm literally just going to thread a bit of this Hessian through. And this may not seem like a huge deal, and I'll literally just thread it through, and I will tie that one piece of Hessian there. I'll use snippers just to cut it down. That's probably just a little bit too long, so I'll cut that bit down, cut this bit down a little bit. You may not think that looks like a lot. Next time you're out in the woods, You look around you, have a look on the ground. You'll often see. I mean, this looks like a stick or a very fine piece of detail, but it just creates that line or that break, and you'll see that on the ground. There will always be little bits of stick or do that all over my suit. So here are these are the trousers that we can see here. I'll just tie bits there, so they end up looking like sticks. But that can be the difference between perfectly blending in and not quite perfectly blending in. So it's that attention to detail. As you can see, this stuff here, this is all the raffia, and I don't do it in big clumps. It will literally just be little bits, but little bits scattered over the entire suit, which will then create depth. On the arms, you'll see it's here. Now, it is a very time-consuming exercise to do that, but I think that's a key ingredient in the success of my suits, guys, that that attention to detail.